They said she grills the best chicken in town, spicy, juicy, seasoned with herbs that dance on your tongue and flavors that haunt your cravings. From the first bite, people were addicted, coming from far and wide, begging for just one more piece. But how could one woman's chicken taste this divine? Was it just skill? Or was something darker marinating beneath the surface? Find out in the story of Madame Suckbone. Her name was Isabella Okoye, the only child of her parents. When they passed in a tragic accident, the only thing left to her was grief. Her uncles and aunts, greedy and cruel, forced her out of her family home. No inheritance, no shelter, no mercy. She wandered from one neighboring village to another, scrubbing floors, washing clothes, doing any job that could feed her. For months, she survived on crumbs and prayers, sleeping wherever the night found her, until she reached Umunachi, a village far from everywhere she once knew. She had hoped to rent a room and begin again, but the landlords were merciless. If you don't have money, then leave. Even goats need shelter money, one scoffed. She begged, pleaded, but no one cared. She was an outsider. And in Umunachi, outsiders were invincible. Tears welled in her eyes as she walked the village, heartbroken and exhausted. The sky was darkening, and her hope was thinning. She had nowhere left to go, so she walked toward the village river. She only wanted to rinse herself, to wash away the dust of shame before night fell. As she approached the water, something caught her eye. A house, small, quiet, just beside the riverbank. It looked old, but not broken. Empty, but not dead. Who would leave a whole house here? She whispered. She stepped closer, heart pounding. The door creaked open without resistance. Inside, it was dusty, but livable. A table, a bed, a tiny kitchen space. Her lips quivered. Thank you, God, she said shakingly. Maybe this is my beginning. That night, Isabella swept and cleaned every corner of the house. She lit a tiny lamp from her travel bag and curled up on the narrow bed. For the first time in months, she slept in peace until midnight came. A chilling wind blew through the house. Though the windows were shut, the flame of her lamp flickered violently, then died. Child! Isabella's eyes snapped open. Standing by the bed was a figure, glowing, radiant, terrifying. A woman, tall and otherworldly, her skin shimmering like water under moonlight. Her voice echoed from everywhere. I am Mirima, the river goddess of Umunachi. I have seen your pain, your rejection, your sorrow. Isabella froze. Her breath caught in her throat. Who are you? What do you want from me? I want to bless you, child. I want to give you riches, fame, power, a life of glory in this very village that turned its back on you. Isabella's heart studied. You do that for me? Yes, but you must serve me in return. Mirima's voice deepened. By morning, a part of this house will become a restaurant, beautiful and shining. Outside, you'll find sacks filled with chicken, spices, oil, drinks. Every morning, I'll provide. Your job is simple. Cook. Make the chicken irresistible. Fry it with pepper and onions. Season it richly. The smell alone will summon crowds from across Umunachi. Feed them. Give them the chicken. Give them the drinks. And as they eat, I will feed. Their life source will flow into the river. You will prosper as they wither. You will rise as they fall. Isabella sat up, staring at the goddess with wide eyes. Her mind raced. These villagers had laughed at her, spat at her, watched her suffer. Now, someone wanted to reward her, make her powerful, make her matter. A slow smile curved on her lips. Yes, she said coldly. I accept. I want the riches. I want the fame. I want them to crawl to me. Let them pay for ignoring me. Mirima's eyes gleamed. Good. Welcome to the land of riches, my daughter. And just like that, she vanished. Outside, the river rippled, as if it had heard every word. Isabella Okoye woke up to the scent of possibilities and the sound of change. The once rickety house by Umunachi River had been completely transformed. Just like Mmirima had promised, the living area had become a stunning restaurant. Polished wooden floors, glimmering tables neatly arranged with elegant chairs, and curtains that danced with the morning breeze. The old kitchen was now a culinary dream. Sleek countertops, clean utensils, rows of spices lined up like soldiers, and pots that shone like new coins. But what really caught her breath was outside. Right beside the riverbank stood a grill station, a sleek iron frying stand, tall and black, forged like something from the gods themselves. Beneath it, glowing coals cracked gently, giving off a low, steady heat. The fire didn't smoke, it didn't spit, it just glowed, like it knew its purpose. And surrounding it were sacks filled with fresh chicken, soft, plump, cleaned and ready. There were crates of drinks too, packed and cold, already sweating with icy condensation, even in the unforgiving heat of Umunachi. No fridge, no cooler, just cold by magic. Isabella didn't question it, she smiled. Let's begin, she whispered. She watched the chicken with precision, humming a sweet melody as she walked. Then came the seasoning: thick pepper paste, garlic, ginger, diced onions, dried herbs, a splash of palm oil, and a mysterious black powder with a strange smoky scent. She marinated the chicken in silence, brushing the peppery paste over every inch, letting it soak in like a ritual. When she placed the first set on the grill station, the sound was immediate, a deep, satisfying sizzle. The meat danced on the iron grate as the heat kissed it alive. The oil bubbled and the pepper seared, sending up thick waves of aromatic steam that floated across the air like holy incense. Two girls fetching water nearby stopped mid-step. Jesus, what's that smell? Said Amara, eyes wide. Her friend Chisom blinked. Chicken? Roasted? Fried? I don't even know again, but my spirit is telling me it's juicy. Chisom replied, sniffing like a bloodhound. We need to taste that thing. Let's go, now. They dropped their buckets and followed the scent trail straight to the riverside restaurant. Inside, Isabella welcomed them with a warm smile. Come in, darlings. You're just in time. She placed 2 plates in front of them. Golden brown fried chicken, glistening in oil, dripping with sauce, garnished with grilled onions and a hint of green pepper flakes. On the side, she served cold fruit drinks, the kind that tingled before the first sip. The girls took one bite and nearly lost their minds. This is mad, Amara said, her eyes rolling back. This one enter, oh my God, I can't even talk, she moaned, licking pepper off her fingers like it was honey. Words spread faster than the Umunachi breeze. By afternoon, the restaurant was full. By evening, it was packed. People from all over the village and even nearby towns started trooping in, drawn by the scent of Isabella's chicken and the legend of the girl who cooked by the river. She charged more than anyone else, yet no one complained. They paid, they devoured, they returned again. And Isabella, she counted stacks of naira on her bed that night, her fingers shaking with disbelief. All this in one day. So this is what wealth feels like, she whispered. I love it. I deserve this. The days turned into weeks. Her name traveled faster than wind. Have you tried that chicken by the river? Cold drinks, hot pepper. You'll feel like royalty. Even travelers from nearby towns came searching for Madam River Chicken, as they now called her. Men flirted. Women begged for her recipe. Children asked to lick the bones, but she only smiled. It's from the gods, she'd say. They laughed. They didn't know she wasn't joking. Within a month, she built a mansion in the heart of the village, bought herself a black SUV, the kind that turned heads and sparked rumors. Her restaurant had become the pulse of Umunnachi. She was the girl everyone wanted to be, and the woman no one dared cross. She began to dream of living, of expanding. Maybe Lagos, she said to herself one night, start a big lounge, a new brand, a clothing line. I'm not just rich, I'm powerful now. I have done enough here. That night, as she lay in bed, dreaming of empires and skyscrapers, the air in her room dropped. Cold, still, heavy. The shadows moved. I know what you're thinking, Isabella. She jolted up. There in the center of the room stood Mirima, eyes glowing like river stones. Her voice was no longer sweet. It echoed, sharp, like a crashing wave. You want to leave Umunnachi? You want to break the covenant? Take the wealth and run? Isabella sat up straighter, defiant. You promised me riches, goddess, and you gave them. I'm grateful, but I want to start another business now, in a bigger place. I have done what you asked. They come, they eat, I feed them to you. I've done enough. Quiet, child, Mirima thundered. The walls trembled. Water spilled from her flower vases. Isabella shrank slightly. You were given this wealth for a purpose. You have not yet served it. You want to live? Try it, and you won't live alive. Isabella's heart began to race. But I have served the chicken. They love it. I have drawn them in. You can do with them whatever you want. I upheld my side. No, Isabella. That was only phase 1. There is more work to do. I will grow your riches even more. But when the time comes, you will do my final bidding. Then and only then can you go. Isabella's heart sank. She stared directly into Isabella's soul. Until then, stay put. You have no choice. And with that, she vanished, leaving only silence and the smell of pepper still lingering in the air. The goddess had spoken, and Isabella wasn't about to tempt the wrath of a spirit who gifted her such power. So she stayed in her lane. Chicken and drinks. No rice, no swallow, no puff-puff. Only grilled chicken that could make grown men moan in public. Word spread like wildfire across Umunnachi and beyond. People from neighboring villages trekked miles barefoot just to taste her chicken. Others came by Okada, Keke, even shiny black SUVs that didn't belong on those dusty roads. They all wanted one thing, a bite of Isabella's legendary grilled chicken. She had set up a sleek iron grill station outside the restaurant. The chicken, marinated in her secret blend, sizzled with a sound that could raise the dead. Each piece bore the goddess's signature, crispy skin, tender meat, and a taste so deep it felt ancestral. The queue started as early as 5 a.m. Men, women, children, even old mamas with no teeth, lined up with bowls and coolers. No one dared complain about the wait. Isabella would take her sweet time, arranging the chicken just right, wiping her hands slowly, humming slowly as the aroma tortured her customers. But no one grumbled, no one cursed. They were under a spell, and they knew it. Every morning without fail, a sack of freshly plucked chicken would be waiting at her doorstep. Crates of cold drinks, Malta, Fanta, soft beer, and that mysterious dark cola she never stocked herself, sat beside the sack like tights from the spirit world. Isabella never asked questions. She simply went inside, lit her coals, and began. Soon, the streets renamed her Madame Suckbone, because after the meat was gone, people sucked the bones dry. Some even cracked them open to lick the marrow. Nobody left a crumb behind. Even the bones look offended if you try to throw them away. Madame Suckbone, I beg, give me 5. One man shouted, waving his wallet. I want carry go house for my wife. Isabella would laugh, wiping her sweat off her brow. Ichie DK, I know your wife will fight you if you don't bring her extra. Make her add 6. What started as a village mystery quickly became a national sensation. People swore her chicken cured headaches, joint pain, infertility, poverty, even heartbreak. One man claimed he got a bank job after licking the pepper off her chicken skin. A local woman said her epileptic son stopped seizing after drinking her chewed zobo. Doctors came, bankers, oil magnates, Nollywood actors. One honorable minister landed in a chopper, demanding 50 chickens and a crate of cold drinks on his knees. They didn't understand it. They just knew they were being drawn there by something greater. And Isabella, she was rich now, unbelievably rich, richer than she had ever imagined. Her laugh grew louder, her clothes brighter, her hips rounder, and somewhere in the dark corner of her dreams, the goddess was watching, smiling. Things were moving on smoothly for Isabella, alias Madame Suckbone. Money was flowing like palm wine at a village wedding. Her cheeks had grown rounder, her dresses more expensive, and she now walked like she owned the ground itself. People still lined up day and night for her legendary chicken. Some said her meat was sacred, others swore it was addictive. Even though the village was beginning to fall under a strange shadow, no one dared stop eating. Then one day, people began to vanish, one by one. First, a young boy, last seen fetching water by the river. Then 2 fishermen, who never returned. A woman washing clothes, a lover's trace gone wrong. One disappearance turned to 10, then 15, then 20. Whispers filled the air. Something is wrong. It's the river. But Madame Suckbone's chickens still sweet, cha. Even with fear in their hearts, the villagers kept eating. It was like they couldn't help themselves. The aroma, the taste, it was beyond free will. They were no longer just customers, they were worshippers. Eventually, it reached the palace. The king of Umunachi called a meeting with the council of elders. He wore his red cap of judgment that day, face grave, voice tight with fear. Our people are disappearing, the king began. This is no longer a rumor, it is war. And we must act fast, or this village will be nothing but stories whispered at funeral fires. The elders, once proud and stubborn, now sat hunched and shaking like dry leaves. They agreed to consult the greatest native doctors from surrounding villages. But one by one, the babalawos came and went. Each one told the same chilling truth. The river goddess of Umunachi has awakened. She's angry, she's powerful, she's feeding. And she wants to wipe out everybody in this village. But I'm not that powerful to defeat her. You have to find another native doctor. And what's worse, something is making her stronger. She has gotten very strong over the months, as if something was feeding her power. And she has now gotten very powerful now, and there is nothing anyone can do. One of the native doctors said, if you had brought this matter earlier, it would have been sorted out. But now, she has gotten more stronger and cannot be stopped, he added. The king didn't sleep for days, his eyes sunken, his beard uncombed. The throne began to feel like a curse. He summoned the elders again, desperate for a way out. That's when Elder Nwokocha stood up slowly, his voice steady. My king, there is a man of God, a powerful pastor. I heard he healed the blind, cast out spirits in Oka, and raised a boy from death with just a song. He lives 3 villages from here. Maybe it's time we try another power. With no options left, the king agreed. He sent 2 trusted elders to bring the pastor back. But in the dark depths of the river, Mirima the goddess was watching. Her voice cracked through the waters like thunder. No! This must not happen. Around her, the vanished villagers floated, no longer human. Their eyes were glowing blue. Their skin had shimmered, stretched, transformed. They had become mermaids and mermen, servants of the river, lost forever. The goddess turned to her daughter, the beautiful and fierce Olama, princess of the river. There is trouble, my child. A man of God is coming. We must act now. What shall we do, mother? Olama asked. Leave that to me. That night, while Isabella was sleeping in silk wrappers, dreaming of her future mansion in Lekki Phase 1, Mirima appeared once again. Her voice boomed through the walls like a hurricane. You have served me well, Isabella. Isabella jolted upright. What do you want me to do, great goddess? Isabella asked. It is time to fulfill my final bidding, she said, her voice echoing. Before Isabella could respond, a massive sack of chicken appeared before her. The skin of the chicken glistened unnaturally, almost golden. The air around it tingled like lightning. This wasn't ordinary poultry. This was divine.
This,
the river goddess said,
is the last sack you will ever receive. This is a special chicken. You must prepare it at dawn. You must serve it to every single villager. But this time, you will collect no money. It will be free treat to everyone. A feast, a final gift.
Isabella blinked. Free? But why?
Because they will eat gladly. The poor who couldn't afford before will run. The proud will humble themselves. And when they do, when they all eat this final chicken, they will belong to me forever.
The goddess' voice turned deeper, echoing like a scream trapped in a cave.
They will descend into my depths, into my kingdom. I shall rule this land from beneath, and you, my daughter, shall be free, rich, untouchable. You may live with all you've earned. Start your new life. No one will stop you.
Isabella's heart beat like a drum in a masquerade dance. You mean I can finally leave? For real?
Yes.
She smiled. Her teeth sparkled in the moonlight. Her eyes gleamed with madness and hunger. Then I shall prepare it with joy.
Good,
said the goddess.
Make sure it is delicious. Pepper it well. Let the aroma draw them in like flies to honey. Let them eat their destiny with their own hands. Because this is going to be the final chicken they will ever taste in their entire life.
And just like that, Mirima disappeared, leaving Isabella staring at the sacred sack of doom. She got up, walked to her grill station, and began to plan the feast that would change Umunnachi forever. The night was thick with shadows when the elders reached the neighboring village. Lanterns swayed in the breeze as they stepped into the humble church where Pastor Obiora was holding a midnight vigil. His voice was firm in prayer, but when he saw the elders approach, faces marked with desperation, he paused. They told him everything that is happening in Umunnachi, about the whispers in the wind and the girls that never returned home. He was silent for a while, absorbing their tale. Then he spoke. I already had plans, but something is pushing me. I'll follow you to your village. The elders sighed with relief. By dawn, they had set off. The pastor's rickety old pigot groaned on the red dusty road to Umunnachi village, but it moved like it was being carried by divine wind. At exactly 6:30 a.m., they arrived at the king's palace. Before the king could utter a word, Pastor Obiora stood tall and declared, something terrible is about to happen in this village. If we don't stop it now, Umunnachi will be wiped off the map. We must go to the river right now. No one dared question him. Meanwhile, at the river bank, Isabella was already setting up her grill station. A sleek iron stand carefully balanced over glowing red coals. Smoke curled upward as the aroma of marinated chicken filled the air. Villagers were already in line, licking their lips, hungry for her famous roast. The meat sizzled, the chicken skin puffed and glistened with oil. She smiled as she flipped a thigh. Just as she was about to serve, the crowd parted. Pastor Obiora stormed in. Stop, he thundered. No one should touch that chicken. That chicken is cursed. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Isabella blinked in disbelief, acting like she had been wrongfully accused. Pastor, what are you saying? I've been feeding this village for a while now. Nobody has complained before. Are you okay? But Pastor Obiora's eyes burned with something holy. You know very well what I'm saying. You demon in disguise. Confess now and spare yourself damnation. Isabella's smile faltered. I don't know what you're talking about though, she muttered, but her voice shook. The pastor didn't wait another second. He raised his Bible and began to pray in thunderous tongues. The ground trembled. Isabella fell to her knees, screaming, her voice inhuman. It's burning. Oh God, the fire. Stop. Please make it stop. I'll confess. I'll confess. The crowd fell into stunned silence. Reading in pain, she began to confess everything. How she came to Umunnachi from the river. How she had been sent by the river goddess to deceive them, to make them eat cursed food, to weaken the land for a takeover. She told them how the chicken was consecrated in the water altar before being grilled. The villagers staggered back. Some vomited. One elderly man fainted on the spot. Then the sky darkened. A thick fog rolled in from the river. Suddenly, the river goddess emerged, majestic and monstrous, her tail glistening, her skin glowing like wet obsidian. Behind her stood the river princess and several mermaids, their eyes flickering like dying lanterns.
"You powerless mortal,"
the goddess hissed.
"Leave this place or drown in your own arrogance."
But Pastor Obiora didn't flinch. "No power is greater than the Lord I serve. Not here, not anywhere." The goddess laughed, a cruel, bone-chilling laugh that echoed through the trees.
"Ha ha 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 ha! You dare challenge me in my own domain? This river is mine. You are either very foolish or you've got some balls, but your stupidity will be your doom."
Then, without warning, all the river spirits raised their hands and struck him with blinding force. But the pastor held his Bible high, and with a mighty cry, he shouted, "Let God arise!" A blinding light burst forth. The mermaids shrieked and vanished one by one. The river kingdom began to collapse. Its throne cracked, and the waters turned black and violent. Only the goddess remained. Enraged, she screamed,
"How dare you! Now feel my full wrath!"
She struck him again, this time with the full weight of her powers. The pastor screamed in tongues, dropped to one knee, but then with fire in his eyes, he struck her with his Bible. A thunderbolt fell from the sky. The river goddess wailed in agony. And then, poof, she vanished in a burst of smoke. The sky cleared. The river grew still. The scene was filled with cries and prayers as the pastor laid his hands on Isabella. She screamed, not just from pain, but from years of bitterness, rejection, and spiritual torment. Tears streamed down her face as she confessed, "I didn't mean to become this way. They hated me, mocked me. The pain, the anger, and the greed hardened my heart. I gave in to her." The pastor didn't flinch. With calm authority, he pressed his hand firmer on her head, rebuking every dark force that had used her as a vessel. "Even the purest souls can be corrupted by pain and greed," he said aloud, "but God's mercy is greater than any curse." Isabella collapsed, silent, empty, free. But the battle wasn't over yet. The pastor rose and made his way to the palace. He stood before the king and the elders, their faces pale with realization. Then the pastor spoke solemnly. "Let me tell you what your ancestors did 100 years ago. Omonachi wasn't always peaceful. In those ancient days, a chilling tradition reigned. Every firstborn son was sacrificed to the river goddess on his 18th birthday. In exchange, the village would flourish, abundant harvest, wealth, and power. The village of Omonachi followed this tradition, even though it didn't favor most of them, because some people had an only son. And when the only son is killed, their lineage will obviously close, because there was no male son to continue the line. Men tried their very best to marry as many wives so that they could have as many sons as they could want, offering only the first son as sacrifice. Every year, on a special day, the boys would tie black wrappers around their waists and line up by the riverside. One by one, they were offered to the river, tears in their eyes, but chains in their hearts. The priestess of the village would prepare them for the sacrifice. The mothers would cry heavily. But what can they do? They cannot defile the great river goddess. The priestess would chant, and one by one, they would enter the river. The river would open its mouth and swallow them whole. But peace built on blood was never true peace. Many families were destroyed, lineages were cut off. Then one day, a missionary pastor arrived in Omonachi, sent by his senior pastor. He came to preach salvation, but what he found was darkness. The Holy Spirit stirred him, and he began preaching against the sacrifices. Slowly, broken families joined him. The chain of fear began to crack. They prayed, they fasted, and on the day of the sacrifice, no son entered the river. The goddess, furious, rose from the water and crushed the village, but the pastor stood his ground, invoking heaven's power. There was a final clash, and she was defeated. But before she disappeared into the depths, she screamed,
"One day I will return. I will come back stronger, and I shall have my revenge, and your sons will pay.
And then disappeared into the river. The villagers were scared, but the pastor assured them that nothing would happen, and so they continued living their life, praising God for saving them. Back to the present. The pastor looked the king in the eye. She returned, through Isabella. She was prepared to take her revenge now, and Isabella came at the perfect time, so she used her for her revenge. That spirit fed on her pain, but now we must ensure she never returns again. The pastor ordered the villagers to begin a full cleansing of Omonachi. He prayed over incense, and the men lit it on grave stands at every corner of the village. Thick holy smoke rising to purge every trace of darkness. He blessed waters with salt and told them to sprinkle everything all over the entire village. Everyone must work hand in hand to make sure that the river goddess never returns. The women sprinkled salted holy water at the riverside, in the farms, in every home. The king thanked him. Together in unity, in faith, they cleansed their land. Peace returned. The air felt lighter. The river was quiet. And as for Isabella, before the villagers could see her, she packed what was left of her and vanished from Omonachi. She was never seen again. Moral lesson: greed and pain can open doors to destruction, but repentance, unity and faith can shut them forever. We must never build prosperity on the blood of the innocent, and we must never let the wounds of our past become a weapon in the hands of evil. Every soul deserves love. Every tradition must be questioned, and no curse can stand where light dwells. Thank you so much, my amazing viewers, for watching. Your time, your love, your comments, they mean the world to me. If you found out your favorite food joint, one that changed your life, was tied to something spiritually dark, would you expose the secret and shut it down, or stay quiet and keep eating because of what you are gaining from it? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you haven't already. Every view pushes the story further, and your engagement keeps the fire burning. Bye!